Before we start this round of presentation, I just wanted to know how many who are here are already using Autodesk products. Who are all? Okay, wow, that's 2/3 of the people. So let me ask a question as a salesperson. How many of you intend to use Autodesk going forward? How many of you are considering Autodesk? Okay, so that keeps us motivated. Thank you. So what we are trying to do now is in the second half, we are going to focus on customers who are using the design and manufacturing solutions from Autodesk. We have 5 of them waiting to share with us their success stories, how they were able to utilize Autodesk product expertise into offering their solutions for their customers. So before I start this track with the customers, I thought I'll provide a context and what they do in the Autodesk scope of things before we move on into the customer presentation. So to summarize what we heard about future of making in the morning, Haresh spoke about it, after that Pete spoke about it. So I don't want to spend more time on future of making. I think we all understand what it is, but I just want to bring in a context of how it is impacting us at Autodesk. Now, the way we look at manufacturing space in Autodesk is, if we look at manufacturing as it is what it has been for the last 15 years, last 10 years, then there is no excitement in manufacturing per se. But the way we look at it is, with Industry 4.0 being a reality, the way disruption is hitting us today in the marketplace, we have to relook at manufacturing in many ways. As we look at it, there are 3 trends which are really very visible and is visible in design and manufacturing space in a big way. The first one is the way we produce anything in today's world. It is no more a question of, I will do production on the usual classical way of stuff. Now production is being made in many, many different ways. Gone are the days when we said, okay, manufacturing means we have to only use subtractive manufacturing. Today additive manufacturing is a reality, and additive manufacturing is a reality on a volume of scale. There is someone here who is going to talk about how 3D printing is now picking up pace in India. It's not only 3D printing, now we have composite layering that is coming in. There are many, many things that are happening on the production side, which is making people to rethink the way people are doing manufacturing. That's the first thing that is happening. Number 2 is something that is impacting us in the social media, right? Every one of us here, I'm sure, are on the social media. We tweet, we are up to date by the second. And now, if that is what is happening to us as people, in manufacturing, it can't be any different, right? So our products can't be dormant. The products are also communicating with us on real time. So that is the second thing that is impacting us as an industry. Now, both these trends, when we look at this, how it impacts our nature of work, right? There's one side, there's products, the way they are being produced are different. Number 2, the way data is being accessed is different. Means we can't continue to work the way we were working in the past. So today, when we are doing a design, it's not only constrained to us looking at it only from our own workstation. We have to work with people. Sometimes these people with whom we are doing this design are across the continent. I was having a discussion with one of the auto majors yesterday, and he was explaining to me how he's doing styling of automobiles today. And the interesting part is, he's there in India and he's collaborating with someone in Japan on a real-time basis. So today that is possible with technology like HoloLens coming in, which allows us to look at one design simultaneously from 2 different continents. It's not something which is imaginary, it is something which is reality, and companies are using it. We have seen that in the morning, we have seen how General Motors is using it and how Maruti is aspiring to do this. And these are all the things which are impacting the way the future of making is happening. Now, Now, if you look at the design aspect, we touched upon it in the morning on the generative design part. I just wanted to reiterate this once more because this is very exciting, and we at Autodesk feel this is really transforming the way design is being looked at. The way we look at design today is, if you want to come out with a superior design, give a lot of time to a senior designer, and he will sit, he will think, and he will prepare a very good design. That is how the classic thinking of design has always been. But the way we are now relooking at this is, for example, if you could give this designer an infinite capacity, right? And if this designer has infinite power, what type of designs can he come out with? And that is where AI is coming in. Today, AI is allowing us to do this on the cloud. And what is the advantage? The advantage here is you just need to set the boundary conditions and what are the manufacturing constraints you want to have. And once that is being fed in, the AI then takes over, the cloud power takes over. It can come out with hundreds of designs which meets these boundary conditions. And then the designer can choose the one which is the right one for the particular industry. Now, this is not only for a new product. Let us assume you are in an industry and there are hundreds and thousands of components that we design and manufacture. Assuming that there is one particular part which goes through an issue very often, it wears off faster, or there are a lot of complaints from the field on a particular part, maybe you can take that component or a part and allow this to work on that. Maybe it can come out with a design which is going to have maybe lesser weight, it can take more load, maybe it can be manufactured easier. We don't know what it can come out with. And all of this is possible today. We are not talking about something that we are going to launch next year or so on and so forth. This is something which our customers are using today, and it is now going to be part of our standard pack, which we call it as PDMC collection, product design and manufacturing collection. This is going to be part of this starting next month. So this is something that we all can use, and it's not a very expensive software to try. And this is very, very exciting. Now, switching gears, coming to where our customers are working. Now, if you look at the way currently the manufacturing process is, it forms a very linear way of doing things. Somebody comes up with a concept of a product which they think can go and capture market share. So it starts with a concept that people design that with a way in which they could ensure that it can be manufactured in a profitable basis. Then they produce this, then it gets sold, and then the customers operate this product, and then at some point in time they retire the product. And if you look at this, this is how the traditional product life cycle has been, and it is even today. But one point that we need to see here is the customer has a touch point only at this place, right? We develop the whole thing, and finally it reaches the customer, and then the customer uses this, and then we probably think of, okay, we have to come out with a new idea, and then a new product gets launched. Now, in this scenario, there is some input cost, there is somebody who's adding value, which is a business transformation value, and then the company adds some margin, and then the company sells this product. Now, assuming that there is competition that comes in, how do you handle competition in this scenario? One way is, okay, we'll say, I'll try to reduce this input cost as much as possible. The other way is to say, okay, I'll try to reduce my margin. In a way, we are trying to commoditize the product when we try something like this. So is there a way in which we could do this better? Is there a way in which we could ensure that we are still competitive and we still make money? And so when we look at this on how we can transform this in a new way, the first thing that is happening now is, on the concept side, while we look at the way we conceptualize this whole thing, one way is, if I could conceptualize the product as customizable to an individual customer as possible, probably the customer is willing to pay a premium, right? If I'm going to either design a machinery or it is a consumer product, If the product can be designed and delivered to a customer in a personalized basis, probably that is one way of looking at it. Number two is from the design perspective, as we discussed earlier, if I can collaborate with people, if there is a way in which I could work as a virtual team, the virtual team could be people from the company which is producing the product, or it could be with a vendor ecosystem. Once again, when we were meeting the customer yesterday, the wish of the customer is if they could collaborate with the vendors and the contractors in such a way that they could do this design efficiently. That is the second one. And third one is from the production perspective, as we spoke, can we bring in flexibility in the production, right? Instead of looking at it only from a subtractive manufacturing and milling, can I look at it more from things which are like additive manufacturing, industrial additive manufacturing, so on and so forth, that can help. And from generally selling a product to a customer, can I convert it into a customer experience? And finally, once a product is there in the field, can I take feedback from that product? Which is again a reality today. IoT is happening. We are now seeing Indian customers implementing IoT for their standard products. If I could get the data back from the product, then it will help me to design the product better. And if I could do all of this, probably then instead of being seen as product as a commodity, probably I can be looked at as product as a service. This is what happened to us in software. We moved from selling a license on a maintenance basis to now on subscription. And same way, product is now being transformed from being just a product to product as a service. Once we do that, the advantage that we have here is the value that the customer gets from that product is now longer. They can continue to get this over a period of time, and it also helps to get the feedback back into the design team. So when we are doing the concept, when we are doing the design, these inputs can continuously come in so that I could probably design a better product on a continuous basis. So this is what is now happening in design and manufacturing in our eyes. We strongly believe that this is the way for us to move forward, and we are very excited about that. Now, with this as our value proposition, we interacted with many customers in India, and I have the privilege today to introduce 6 of them who are going to share their knowledge, who are going to share with us how they were able to come out with their solutions in this space. And they are panning across. Maybe I should come to the front. Oops. Okay, so probably I'll cover this after this introduction. So before I introduce this customers here, there is an interesting area that I want to introduce you to. We spoke about how Autodesk is impacting customers, how it is impacting industry to come out with leading edge products, coming out with leading edge design. There is a way which we have not really anticipated when we were designing this solution around Fusion, where we are impacting the humans today. Fusion as a technology is helping us to make human beings get benefit of technology in a way which we have not really anticipated when we came out with the concept. To introduce you to what we have achieved in this field, I would like to invite on stage Antony. So instead of me introducing what he does, let me request Antony to introduce himself and share with us what it is that they are doing and how it is impacting the humans here. Antony, over to you.
Everyone, myself Antony, and I'm the founder of Monk Technologies. Our first product is a Malum. Malum is a smart prosthetic hand, which is mainly for the people who lost their hand, and it is powered by machine learning algorithms. It has dual controlling mode. In mode 1, the amputee can control the opening of the hand, and the closing of the hand is automated. How we subconsciously thinking like we actually changing the gripping force for the different objects. If it is for the egg, if it is for the heavy object, we subconsciously changing the gripping force. Likewise, the hand can do the overtime. Like it takes around 500 different cycles to understand how much gripping force is required for different objects. So and then in next mode, the amputee can control both the opening and closing of the hand. So
I'm an amputee from
yes,
birth.
a little bit about the amputee.
My family lives in China today, and they are mainly from the agricultural background. I finished my Bachelor of Veterinary Science. My brother is an engineer. Being an amputee, I didn't face much problem during my childhood, but as I grown up, I started facing a lot of problems. Even day-to-day activities become difficult. I need to depend on others for almost all the works. When I started to pursue my passion, because of being an amputee, I felt myself alone, and I can't fulfill my passion.
This is a little introduction about the amputee, and he is here with us and to do the demo, and how actually we changed his life with the technology will help you with.
So if you could give a round of applause, Puneet is here.
And we have a doctor here, Saju sir. So actually, Autodesk Fusion plays a vital role in customization of the hand, and we have actually around the 3 different level of customization. The one is the finger cap. We need to match the anatomy of left hand. Like this is the final end product, and you can see the customized silicone gloves here. So we do at 3 different level. One is the finger cap. Can you come now in center? People will stand. So we do that different level. The first one is the finger cap, and the next level is the socket one, and the third part is the gloves that you can see here. So while doing that, we have, because of the cloud-based interaction, we constantly communicate with the processes, and he is the doctor who is going to fit the amputee with the processes. He will explain about how Autodesk Fusion is helping all the 3 stakeholders.
I am a prosthetist. I am working in Government Medical College, Kottayam, Kerala. I was sitting there and I am communicating with the designers who are doing this work. So I can interact with them with the 3D Fusion, 360 Fusion, and so it was very, very useful for me to convey what is my concept on this design to how it will help the a patient with amputation. So really, this technology become a great achievement for the purpose of a human being. Because as a prosthetist, I had felt that most of the international design has not been successful for the patients, whether they are fitting with the processes. But in this, he can operate himself, and there is a limited time of the training is required. 1 or 2 days training is required, but in other hands, it is hand processes. It has to be taken for 15 to 30 days for trial for the patient, trial and training for the patient. So I feel the technology also helped for emerging and the designers and how to benefit the country.
We are really very humbled with whatever has happened with that. Antony, can you share with us what are the next steps that you are planning? Are you going to take this into commercial production?
So currently what we are following is he will take the 3D scan of the remaining stamp and will send to us the 3D scanned file. And we have the manual designer who do the design with the Autodesk Fusion. So in moving further, we plan to engage the design automatically with the generative-based one. So we collect around 500 different sockets and 500 different sets of socket that we made, and we will gather compare the data where the pressure needs to be there and what are the extrusion need to be there. So based on that, we will constrain the generative design, and then we like to automate the entire process in moving further. In coming years, one or 2. And we're happy to share that we are the first Indian manufacturer in India, and this is in this industry. And we are around 8 different patents, 8 different utility patents, and 3 of which we are already filed. And in collaboration, we have used several, previous other designing softwares. Like it's more like a passive one, but Autodesk Fusion is gives us the active environment where we can easily collaborate with the 3 stakeholders, and even the end user can see the design that we are making. So that is one of the advantage we are feeling from using the Autodesk Fusion. And he can do some demo like using the hand.
And in this design also, I feel that it is very easy to fit for any patient, because most of the patients are not using for a long period. They are discarding the product, whatever may be, however may be the cost, they will discard it. But in this case, they can afford, and the weight will be less, and it is very user-friendly. There is a single sensor that will take the signals from the muscles.
Excellent. No, we have seen about Fusion helping products to be lightweighted, but here is a case where it really helps a person. It is an important thing for us to have something like this, and we are really very, very happy to know that we are playing a part in ensuring lives are going to be better for many people. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. Thanks. Good. Thank you. So